Hello everyone, welcome. This is part 2 of creating an app. All right. And let me know if you're here in the chat. There's some construction happening outside. Let me know if you can hear that. Hopefully not. I don't think there's much I can do to stop that. All right. So today we're continuing this this Omniverse Kit app. Last week we started on it. I actually got through pretty much all of the setup, but today I wanted to go back and if you were watching last week, I had copied this extension, the soundboard window extension, into this new repository. I had previously created that, and I just copied the files over and started working on this app. And I really don't want to do that because I, you know, I found some issues as we were working and I needed to change it. And so now I changed it in this project, in this repository. But then this extension actually lives in another repository. So do I update both? Do I update the original one and then recopy the files over? It's a mess. So at NVIDIA, we have different approach. We have different tools for this. We can't make all of those tools available, and also, it wouldn't work for everybody. So I'm doing this as sort of a solo developer, and I need a solution that works for me, that I can still have extensions in different repositories, and because that's the whole point of extensions, right? They're reusable. I can create multiple apps referencing the same extensions, whether it's an extension like the viewport that's going to be critical to a number of different apps, or say I create an extension that's just a developer extension. It has some libraries that are super useful, and I want to use it in lots of different apps. I need that to be able to be accessible to my different apps. So what I think I figured out is that Git Submodules should do everything that I want, and I wanted to share that with you all as a possible solution for you all as well. There's obviously different ways that you can set up your integration to make this work, and your companies may already have solutions for this that you just have to slot into. But if you're a solo developer out there or small teams, this may work for you. So let's get started. Hey, Funky Boy. Hey, Nandu. Let me just pull up some stuff here. So I did want to backtrack a little bit here for something that happened last week. And that is, we were working on I went through the whole thing. I packaged up the app, and then I launched it, and it was using the settings. I thought it was using the settings from the Create app, but I was mistaken. So I did want to clarify on that here. If I go into my settings here, so here are my app installations. And actually, if I go back into data, this is the data for each app. So here's code, create, and any of my custom apps will show up here too. And so here's the soundboard app actually, and here is my user config for this app. So I was mistaken. It actually, you shouldn't use Kit Portable for this unless you have a good reason to. When you package it up and you run it for the first time, it's going to create a folder here for your app, and it's going to have its own custom config. And so you definitely want this. The reason that I thought that it was using the config from Create was because of the way that I actually coded my extension. I decided that I wanted to have my I have a separate config just for this extension, and I wanted it to be global so that I could, if I launched in Create or I launched in Machinima or in my soundboard app, any settings that I set up would carry over. And so that's what this is. This is actually living outside of this folder here. I decided to write out to an extensions directory, and here is my extension and a user config for this. So this is what was getting picked up earlier, and why I was confused as to, thinking I just created this app. Why am I getting a config from somewhere else? And that was actually totally by design. So ignore the Git portable stuff from last week. We shouldn't need that. Cool. So what we're gonna do is, here's my extensions directory. I'm gonna get rid of this code here. This is everything that I copied over from last week. Always makes me nervous when I just blow away a bunch of code like that. And we're gonna use Git Submodules. So I'm gonna, if you've never encountered Git Submodules, basically you might come across a repository where you'll see you might navigate through the code, and then you'll see a link, like a folder that links to another repository. And so that's what I want to create. Is I have here, I have the soundboard app that I'm working on, but I want it to link to this Omni Code with me. This is where my soundboard window is. Hello, welcome. So ideally, so that way I have one reference for, one source of truth for this extension that I'm using that may be used in other apps. But I can work on my app with it knowing about that extension. So, and the other thing is, I'm not very good at coding. So as I'm working on my app, I might realize, oh no, I need to go and update the extension itself because I messed something up, or I found a bug or whatever, and I don't want to have to be recopying files because it's updated, or have a hard time tracking that. So with Git Submodules, I can actually go into the subdirectory where the submodule is and make my changes and then commit it into the Omni Code with Me repo. And then, but it's still available in the soundboard app. So it's really the best of both worlds, I think. So let's set it up. I'm gonna need the repo URL here, and I'm going to do git. No, I need to set up a directory where I want this to go. I'm going to create one called external. Hey, Gavin. And let me know if you have any questions as I'm going through this. And then at the end, I thought we can do a little bit of a Q&A about, any if you've been starting on your apps, if you ran into any issues, let me know. Or if anything needs further clarification from this week or last week. So I'm creating this external directory, and then I could do git submodule add, and I'll paste in that Omni Code with Me URL. And that's just going to clone it. It's going to do a little bit more than cloning, but yeah, it's cloning that whole repository into there. And so now if I look over here, I've got, here's the code with me. Here's my soundboard window extension. So that's what I want. But now I need to make the build aware of it. I need to do a little bit more work here, but I do have at least a reference to it now. And if I go in here, so if I do git remote, if anybody knows a better way to kind of know which repository you're in, let me know. But this is the way that that I've been doing it is I can get the URL for the origin of this from this directory, and it's my soundboard app. But if I go into Omni Code with me and I get the origin there, it's the Code with me repository. So I can make any changes in here. It looks exactly like my other repository. And when I'm ready, if I've made any changes, I can go ahead and just commit it straight into the source repository, the one that it lives in, and I can keep my changes separate. What's part of the app versus what's purely part of the extension. And I can have multiple extensions in here. That's totally fine. I could also have one extension per repository. That shouldn't be an issue. So now, we're going to go up a directory here. Oops. And I'm just going to go ahead and commit this stuff. So here's what it did. It added, looks like I made a change to this setup.py. I need to check what I did. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that. That's fine. Okay. Back to here. So it added this Git submodules file, and then that repository that it cloned. So let's take a quick look at what that is. So here's the submodules file. It's basically just a config file that says this is where the submodule lives in this repo, and this is the URL for that submodule. So let's go ahead and just commit that here. Let's make sure that this is good. All right. Now, what I decided to do is I decided to put this into external. And for my personal preference, these extensions have one bit that's different from just the extension repo, which is that premake5 Lua. I could throw that into my soundboard window extension in the other repo, and it'd probably be fine. But I want to keep it clean. This is a file that's only relevant to the app. I only want it I want it to go into this app repo and not into the extension repo. So what I came up with to solve that is I'm going to use symbolic links in order to link the external extension into this, extensions folder. The other reason that I like this is because, like I said, I could have multiple extensions in this other repository, and maybe this app only needs one of them, so I can keep that clean. I can have a reference to the full external repository, but when somebody comes in here and they're looking at what is actually a part of this app, only the ones that I'm actually using are listed here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And this could all be scripted. I've kind of just spitballing here a potential workflow, and actually before we jump towards to that, I just wanted to show you now. I can show you what this looks like now, because I didn't push it yet. So let's push that first. So now I have an external folder here, theoretically. Nope. What did I do wrong? Oh, I'm on a tag. There we go. So I have the external folder now, and this is the link that I was talking about to Omniverse code, to the Omni code with me, and it's actually locked to a particular commit. So that's actually kind of cool, right? You can lock off this way the exact commit that you want if you don't want to update that way. So this is poor man's dependency tracking and but I think this is a pretty decent way forward, at least for now, until if anybody has a better way, let me know. Cool, so we have that. Now we're gonna come into here and source extensions, and I'm gonna make a directory called soundboard window. And I could have sim linked this folder to the external one, but like I said, I want that pre-make 5 Lua to not be in the other repo. So so I have to do it this way. I'm making the directory, and then I can do the pre-make 5 Lua. I'm going to just copy it from the setup one. Paste it into here. So let's close that one. And if we look over here now, so this is all within this repository, which is great. That's what I want. I can save that now. And now we need to do the symbolic links. And you can do this. You can do this on PowerShell or regular command line terminal with there's a command called make link. I'm using this bash terminal, and so I'm using the Linux ln command, and I'm making it a symbolic link to external code with me exts, that one, and then first one would be config. I'm going to create a new folder called config, and if we look at this, nope, not that one. You can see here it's essentially like a shortcut from one folder to another. So that's what we want. So now I just need to do that a few more times here for the other folders. Data. Docs. And then where the actual code lives. Cool. So that should be my, oops, nope, I messed something up here. Did I? No, that should be fine. That symbol's throwing me off. Let me take a quick look here. Maybe I did mess up the... see, I did mess it up. So let's remove that. And bring this back here. I put a comma there instead of an M. There we go. So again, all of this could totally be scripted. I just wanted to show you step by step how you could do that. I just want to verify I got these little shortcut links there, because if it's a hard link, then it just copies a file, and that would be lame. Cool. So now let's actually test this to make sure it works and that I'm not just making a bunch of stuff up. So we're going to open up a terminal. I'm going to blow away this build folder just to make sure I get a full clean build. Make sure I'm not accidentally just using the old extension. And I'll open this up here so that we can see what it did. So window, release, and here are my extensions. Here's the soundboard window. And then these are going to technically link to my source extensions, but then it's actually going to link to the Omni Code with Me repository. So I can actually go in here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. When I come in here and do git status, oops, no, git remote, get URL origin, it is the Code with Me repository. So that's link hopping all the way to the external. Cool. So now the moment of truth would be, does it work? Build, Windows, release, soundboard. And here's our app. And gotta make sure I'm sharing desktop sound with you also. You can hear the level complete sound. And woohoo. So I think we're good. Now let's commit this and see what that looks like in GitHub. So let's go up a few directories. Notice also that I did relative paths from the directory where I wanted to put these folders to the external directory. That is important, and we'll see in a moment why that works. Right? I need this to work if I ever share this with somebody else and I want them to work on it. It needs to work. So we're at the top now. I can do git add, git commit, added symlinks to external repo or to submodule. And then we can push it. And I will find here, if I go into source, extensions, there's my window. And you can see here, these are links. But this is a hard file here for the pre-make 5 Lua. And if I come into any of these, you can see here that this is what a symbolic link looks like in Git. It's just a file pointing to the actual folder that I'm targeting. So this is a relative path from here. So if anybody downloads this extension, if they clone it, if they clone this repository, then it'll work for them too. So that is it for submodules, really. I think I like it. I think it'll work. I do need to, bang on this a bit more, make sure I don't run into any issues. But let me know what you think if you try it out, and or if you have any better ideas of how to make this work for us on the outside of NVIDIA. Other than that, let me check my notes to see if I had anything else that I needed to share with y'all. Otherwise, go ahead and start queuing up some questions. As far as the menu setup goes, I didn't make too much progress on this. I think part of the issue is that this get editor menu approach may not be compatible with the menu layout. I obviously made this harder on myself. I don't need the file open menu, so I could have just gotten rid of that. But other than that, the approach here is pretty correct. I was mostly just running into issues with these two that are added in this extension, and then I was having trouble hiding them or manipulating them. I have asked for this to be a little bit better documented, or just documented in general. But yeah, I think that it would be helpful to get some more documentation on this. Since I think originally it may not have been something that we were gonna share out, but now yeah, I think it is a key part to this workflow. So we should absolutely get some documentation on this. It's not hard. I think it's not hard to follow. I think it's just like the functions and the classes are fairly simple. It's more of making sure that we understand how this was designed and to make sure we're not abusing it is mostly what I'm after here. But these are the basics. You can also find an example in any of our Omniverse apps. They do this too. So if you're looking for something more complicated, you can go into, for example, create extensions. Here's a setup extension. This is exactly does not exactly, but it does a lot of what the setup extension is doing in the app template. So you can come in here, and in this extension file, you'll find that there is the same quick layout approach for creating these custom layouts. And also here is the same menu layout code here, and it's way more complex, right? There's a ton of extensions that create uses, and so it's doing a lot of rewiring of these menus to create something that's better for the user than just what each extension kind of intended on their own. So definitely check these out from the reference apps that we have. And setting up some default settings. There's a lot to learn here from how we do the setups for the reference app. So highly encourage you to check these out. I'll go ahead and share this in a moment. All right, that's really all I have to show today. Really, we ran through all of this last week. I just wanted to get that submodule workflow out there, just because I don't think it's a good idea to be copying files like I was doing it in last week. So I wanted to have at least some option for reusability of code and sharing code between repositories. Any questions? Otherwise, I think we can end early today. It'd make me happy. Spain is playing in the World Cup right now. Not trying to end early because of that. I did choose to be here instead of there. But if I can catch the game too, I don't mind. Anybody watching the World Cup? Thanks, Monkey Boy. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be making more apps in the future for sure. And I do want to, if you're working on an app, please share. Yep, soccer is exciting. Pretty fun World Cup. Lots of weird results this time around. Teams that were winning and ended up losing, and so it's pretty exciting. Yeah, so Argentina is my main, is the team that I go for every time. Um, but you know they don't always do well. So Spain is my backup once Argentina gets knocked out, and then from there it's just what at that point it's just the semifinals and the finals. So every game is exciting at that point. Any thoughts on how to deploy the Kit apps? Great question. All right. Nandu's ready to get back into business here. This is going to depend, right? If you have, I guess we should clarify. Are you trying to share this within your company with other coworkers, or are you trying to get this out to the public? That would be one thing to clarify on. I can cover both as far as where we're at right now and where we want to be. And then can Kit apps be accessed remotely? So today what we have is the streaming client. Definitely where we want to be is the Omniverse cloud, right? I can't wait until the day where we have people deploying apps on the cloud. You have the car configurator. Everybody's got their own Omniverse apps, and you can access them through the browser. That's going to be amazing. So that's coming, right? We shared it at the last GTC. We have the car configurator demo that you can use right now, and so that's definitely in the works. Yeah, I think we are all like OmniCloud cannot come soon enough. Um, the other part is the easy one that I can say today is if you're at a company and you want to share this with your coworkers, if you're developing these 3D workflows that no other app can accommodate, or you've chosen to build on Omniverse, which is wonderful. You want to you can just share this, put this on a network somewhere, or have an installation route. And I shared last week the requirements for having a working app once you've shared it out in the wild, which is I should package this. Let's package this really quick. I need to go through this myself. What I would like, what I've done in the past is I would like, coming from working at a company with a Linux, working on the Linux platform, I would like to just put these apps put my app on a network, and then anybody can just run my app from that location, and it works. What I haven't really dug into is whether that works for how do the config files work in that case. Can we do that? So I need to clarify on that. But otherwise, you can have some installation method where you share these out with your coworkers and get them installed. And the installation process is not bad for is fairly simple for if you're scripting it, right? You can this one, build packages, extract all. All you need to do is get this on their computer, run the link app.batch, make sure that they have the Omniverse launcher running, and then run the app. So really the installation is just make sure that the link app batch is running, or is run. You get the files on their machine, run link app batch, and then they can, once they run the actual app batch, then they're good. So that part's simple. The part that is, and then if you wanted to share this out with the world, you can do that. Same process, right? You send them the package, and you just give them some those simple instructions. Have Omniverse launcher running, run the link app batch, make sure you install the backing, the base app. So in my case, my repo toml, I've decided that create is my base app for this application. And once they have those two requirements, you run the link app.batch, and then you're ready to run the app. So that would be if I wanted to share this out with the world. And then where we want to be is on the Omniverse launcher in the Exchange tab. We want to be able to have more apps on there from the community, from the third-party apps. So the idea would be, and this is still being planned out, but from what I understand, the idea would be you give us your package, and we when somebody installs it, we go ahead and we have a process to make sure that the installation runs correctly, and they get their app with, and so potentially maybe if it requires create, it automatically downloads create for them too, and then it also installs your app. So that's in the works, but we know that that's something that would benefit from being smoother. So other than that, let me check to see. So yeah, I think the most common today would be, companies that are customers that are building these custom 3D workflows. They're building internal tools, and so this works great for them, right out of the box. As far as accessing OmniCloud and whether it'll be accessed via a secure network, I don't know. I hope so. I think we should provide a plan for that. But I haven't seen anything for that yet, so I can't speak to that. Cool. Does that help, Nandu? Any other question on that? Any question from anyone else? Cool. Yeah, I want to try that, installing to a network location, just to go through that myself. But I'm guessing that it may not feel like it's not going to be straightforward. But I need to test it. Documentation on Omniverse deployment options. Yeah, I think we can have something really actually documented for that. I mean, unless you're talking about I don't have a timeline for when Omniverse Cloud will be available, unfortunately. Omniverse. I do want to clarify that we do have deployment docs for just Omniverse Enterprise. What we don't have is this new Kit app template stuff, right? That what I went through is kind of what's documented in the README. But we could have more specific options there. If we're talking about just Omniverse deployment in general, I do want to point out that we have this one. No, there's an install guide. So enterprise is the one that's much more involved. I don't know what the workstation one actually goes through here. It's just, this is the basic installation of download launcher, install nucleus, blah, blah, blah. But this one goes much more in depth for customers and setting everything up, plus virtualization and things like that. So I will share this out if this, in case this is what you're talking about here or looking for. But yeah, that's about it there. Any other questions? The question is, Ned is saying that Xbox controller is working well with Omniverse. Are there any thoughts on other HMI devices like Stylus or XR Hand Glove? I don't know if we have anything specific for that. I'll need to find out if we've done anything on our end. You can obviously implement it on your end if you wanted to. If you've got the SDKs, you can make that work for yourself. But I don't think we have anything out of the box for those. But I'll find out. I imagine Stylus should work out of the box. Right? It's mostly a mouse. But I may be wrong. Yeah, I'll find out about what other XR options we have or input options, and I'll let you know on Discord. All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. I think we can call it here. No problem, Nandu. Happy to answer questions, and I'll see you guys around. This week we have Action Graph deep dive on tomorrow for our main live stream. I think that's going to be super helpful, so check that out. And then Developer Office Hour on Friday, same time as this, just on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So thank you all for coming, and I will see you around.